Good Sunday afternoon. Thanks for joining. So I want to know if you recognize what that little guy is right there. If you recognize what that little guy is in my screen, tell me what that little guy is. Hey, is that Ralph that just joined? Sorry about that. So, hi, Christine. So, Ralph, if that is you that just signed on, I have to apologize. I was not able to get my talk from Friday loaded on YouTube because my internet in the house is being really weird. And then my husband told me that my router out here in the gym, which is where I'm broadcasting from now, is my massage room. Here's a nice little relaxed setting for you. So nice. So anyway, so I can get that done today because I'll just bring my laptop out here. Ralph, I was just talking to you. I think you disconnected and jumped on. So I'm going to get yesterday's and Friday's scopes pointed to YouTube today, so you can get that. I wasn't able to do it yesterday, so today it'll be there. Hi, Denise. So today I'm going to do a quick little scope for you. I'm actually going to do Motivation Monday on Sunday for a couple of reasons. One, because I have makeup on today, and I'm I figured I'd just reuse church makeup today. Good job, Ralph. I'll see you on YouTube tomorrow, okay, or later today. So I figured I'd recycle my makeup and use it today. So instead of Motivation Monday tomorrow, I'm going to be doing another workout, and I'll explain why I want to try to get as many workouts in as I can. But also because my husband's in the house and he's sanding and it's really dusty. And it kind of depresses me because I have to dust a lot later when he's done, but I will have a pretty living room when he's all done. So anyway, so that's why I'm scoping today. Sorry, it looks like some of you got kicked off. I had a little pause. But today we're going to do a quick little motivation scope on smiling, and I'll tell you a little more about that in just a second. But let's see, there was a couple things I wanted to tell you about. Why I'll be doing a fitness scope on Monday is because I'm trying to, hi, I'll see you in a couple weeks. That's my sister right there. So as I'm trying to build up my library of workouts for a number of reasons. One of those reasons is because I see so often in the gym that from November, pretty much Thanksgiving, until New Year's, people slide off. My clients pay ahead of time for their sessions, so whether they pay or not, they're typically, I don't see them. And I don't really want to see them. It's not really about getting their bill. It's really about seeing them because I want them to have those results. So I'm trying to create some workouts that Nikki and Zach, hey! So I got the whole family in the house. That's awesome. Well, Nikki's a smiler, so she's going to like this one. So anyhow, I'm starting a membership site, so I'm creating a lot of workouts to put on the membership site. I'll tell you more about that later, but what I really want to do is make sure that you guys don't slip from Thanksgiving to New Year's, because I see it all the time. Everybody works really hard and then they kind of slip up. So I've got a lot of things in line to keep you on track from Thanksgiving, well, actually from now until New Year's. So a couple of those things are, one is the Halloween Hotties Challenge, which is going on now. You can join that whenever. If you go to my website, which is in my bio, it's secondwindfitness.net with a 2ND. You can go to the page that's labeled Challenges and Books, and you can, hey, thanks for joining up again. I see I lost you. You can go check on the books, and all my challenges right now are up there for free. The Halloween Hotties is just kind of a habit challenge, creating a new habit each week, and then you'll get an email with that kind of tells you how to create habits, how to keep them, and it also has a whole segment about staying away from the candy bowl, because that is part of the problem, is that people start with the candy bowl slide and they just keep on slipping all the way through New Year. So you can go download that. The next one coming is right about the 15th of November. I'm going to post a holiday survival guide for you. And actually, I just thought of this today, is that I'm going to scope our way through that as well. So basically what that is, that takes you, hey, thanks for joining. Are you talking Skittles like the candy nearby? So you might want to put that in the other room. So thanks for your confession though. See, it starts now. The truth of the matter is that you don't have to buy Halloween candy until like the day before Halloween. I know. Whoever thought of that? And I know that Denise lives out on a dark highway. So you probably don't get any trick-or-treaters anyway, so you should just get rid of the candy altogether. Okay, so totally nailed you on that one. So, yeah, so let's see. I lost my train. Oh yeah, so the survival guide. So what that's going to be is I'm going to show you how to approach the holiday Thanksgiving feast table in a safe way. So it's also going to talk about workouts that will get you through that. So ways to manipulate your workouts, the type and the timing of your workout, so that you kind of set yourself up to be able to go and have that Thanksgiving feast and kind of not set yourself too far behind. So that's going to be really key. And I just decided today that that is actually a downloadable ebook that I wrote. It will also have some tips on preparing much better from Thanksgiving through Christmas so that you're not stressed and freaking out and missing your workouts. So I'm kind of setting you up to have a really successful holiday season. But I decided I'm going to scope my way through that. So if you tune in on Wednesday before Thanksgiving, I'll get you a workout then. We'll do something maybe Thanksgiving morning. I don't know why not. And then the day after Thanksgiving, I'll give you something to do. And that will kind of set the scene. So I'm going to get you guys like revved up and ready to go so that you can deal with the holiday table in the best way possible, but still enjoy yourself. Okay, let's get on to the whole point of today. This is Motivation Monday on Sunday because we're going to work out tomorrow morning. But I want to go into smiling. Today's scope is about smiling and how you can burn more fat just by smiling. Okay, so I hope you're all smiling there on the other side of the screen. Give me some hearts. I can't see your smile, so you should give me some hearts, okay? And I'm going to show you something right now. This is something that always makes, thanks. This is something that always makes me smile. I'm going to get a little confessional with you right now because this is super dorky, but I don't know what it is. I cannot help myself, and I'm going to buy one of these one day because these things, these, do you love those? You know what those are? Those are tube dancers, and I'm pretty sure I might get one for Christmas. If not, then Christine and Nikki and Zach, you tell my family I want one for Christmas. So I just need a place to put it. I think I put one in bright pink would be awesome. Do you know what those are? Those are those little dancer guys that you always see at the car shops, and they're just like this, and they're so happy. I can't believe I'm telling you this, but I love those. They make me smile all the time. And so here is how you're gonna burn more fat just by smiling. I'm going somewhere with this. So it has been shown that just by exercising the muscles that it takes to smile, I won't go into the names because they're kind of big and long and you probably won't remember them anyway, but just by smiling and using those muscles, you stimulate the thoughts in your head to create the endorphins that are created when you smile, okay? Sorry, the endorphins that you would create when you're having a really good time. So they did some studies and they showed that people just by like biting on a pen, you know, when you bite on a pen, it takes that smile shape. I don't have a pen here, but it creates the muscles, a little contraction in the muscles that smile. So just by doing that, then they studied what things were going on in the brain at the time. And just by stimulating those smile muscles, they were seeing the activity in the brain mimicked what would go on when people actually were feeling the emotions that would cause them to smile. So just by flexing the smile muscles, you can create the emotions in your head and the stimulus in your head to start to improve your mood, which is super awesome, right? So I know that there's some days we don't feel like smiling, but what a great tool is that? What, you know that term, fake it till you make it. What a great way to do that. Just bite on your finger or bite on a pen and stimulate the muscles to stimulate the brain to get those endorphins and the happy thoughts going. I think that's an excellent way. But the other thing that I learned, they had this is called the facial feedback hypothesis. And this was a study that they did, and it actually had to be, because of the nature of the study, so just a note, all those hearts, I want to see more hearts because that means that you're smiling. So if you're sitting on the other side going, I just want you to smile this whole time, okay? So this facial feedback hypothesis, how they did this study, they kind of had to not make it an actual, thanks, you guys are good. So they had to make it not like a scientific study because of the nature of the study. People were able to kind of figure out what they were going for. So that's why they call it a hypothesis. But so what they were trying to study was to see if by creating this facial expression, such as doing activities of holding a pen in a mouth, if it would really stimulate the brain. So they had certain people, they did an exercise study. So we're getting here to why exercise or smiling can help you burn fat. You get an A today? Is it because you're smiling? Is that why?
Or do you just guess an answer here? Speaking of answers, I saw somebody do an awesome scope. It was a trivia scope. So I'm going to teach you guys a bunch of stuff, and then we're going to start doing some little fitness and nutrition trivia scopes. And my daughter's going to come on and she's going to help me keep score. So anyway, it's a really fun thing. So give me some hearts if you want to see little trivia scopes. You should be taking some notes. Oh, I guess the hearts are over here. So that when these things come up on trivia scope, I'll give you plenty of, all right, thanks. I'll give you plenty of heads up so you can start taking notes. But let's get back. So what they wanted to see is if smiling during your workout would make the workout seem easier and then allow you to work harder. And so that was basically the study in a nutshell. But people were, during the study, they were kind of figuring out what the study was going for. So the study couldn't be extremely accurate because, you know, it was hard to tell if people were just working harder because they knew, you know, the whole psychological aspect of it. It was a pretty hard thing to keep it secret what the study was about when they were trying to stimulate these people to smile. But what they did figure out is based on rate of perceived exertion. Now, this is a scale I'm going to teach you about now because I use this all the time in my workouts. It's called the RPE scale, okay? This is a scale of 1 to 10, and 1 is like getting out of bed, and 10 is you are like burning like crazy, your tongue is hanging out, you're huffing and puffing, and you have to stop. We can only hold a level 10 for probably 10 to 20 seconds, okay, as far as effort level, and that's based on the kind of energy systems that our body uses to make us push that hard at a level 10. So that means level 5 is about a warm up. A level 6, you know, you're starting to get into it a little bit more. And then around level 8, you're starting to, you're jogging maybe. You could talk to the person next to you in broken sentences. And then you start ramping it up during high intensity to levels 9 and 10. Okay, so that's kind of just a precursor to what the rate of perceived exertion scale is. So what they did is they had people do an exercise, and I believe they were having them cycle. And so they would kind of get these people's ratings. They'd say, okay, so we're pushing at this level. What is your level of rate of perceived exertion? Do you need to go on a diet to lose? Hey, I'll get to that when we're done. So remind me if I don't, but it's a mixed answer. Let's just say that. So let's see. So in the end, basically that they realized that if people could smile while they were, let's say they were working at a level 8, the smile triggered the thoughts in their head that, hey, this isn't so bad, because a smile will elicit positive endorphins and has a lot of benefits to the body. And so their body perceived that smile as, this is not that bad, I can push harder. So now they're pushing a little bit harder, still perceiving it as a level 8. Does that make sense? Tap the screen if that makes sense. So what I'm thinking is I need to come up with like a whole slew of jokes to give my clients while we're working really hard, and then they won't think it's really all that hard. They'll be like, that was the best workout ever, sweating my brains out, no problem. But it was an interesting study, I thought, because there's a lot of ways that we could create a smile in ourselves, either before, during, or after our workout. So I don't know if you guys watched the scope. I think it was last Monday. I was out going for a walk. We were talking about habits. I don't remember what day it was. We were talking about tiny habits. I'm going to kind of jump ship just for a second because it's all going to tie in here. Tiny habits is a method that you can use to create habits. It involves creating a habit, picking a habit that you want to do, breaking that habit down into its tiniest form. Let's say I want to drink more water. Its tiniest form is just 1 glass a day. If I don't drink any water, typically 1 glass a day is the tiniest form of that habit I can come up with, okay? Then I need to find a trigger, something that I do on a daily basis every single day, and that's my trigger for when I'm going to drink that glass of water. So let's just say it's upon waking. I wake up every day. So my trigger is waking up. The habit is drinking the glass of water. And then the third part of creating a tiny habit is I need to create a reward for myself. Well, imagine if all we did, so that reward sinks it into the head, okay? It's like a fist bump, a happy dance, whatever it is. But what if your reward was just simply a smile? Because the smile, as they've shown, just by stimulating those smile muscles, stimulates the brain to say, I like this. This is a good thing. So that's one way that you could improve your tiny habits, is just by adding a big old cheesy smile to the end of the habit as your reward, because it happens that your brain will see, I like this. And the more you do this, the more your brain will like it, okay? So what are some benefits of smiling? So this is how it's going to affect your health, and then we're going to go into a little challenge I have for you. So smiling can improve your immune system. It improves your outlook in general. I mean, that's kind of a no-brainer, right? It decreases your stress. it increases your endorphins. Your endorphins are your happy chemicals that your brain makes, okay? Smiling decreases your blood pressure. It also increases, along with endorphins, serotonin. Serotonin is our self-esteem chemical, let's say. It also increases the natural painkillers that our body creates, which, if you tie that back in with what we just learned about smiling during a workout, makes you feel like you could work harder, but it really feels to you like it's not really any harder. Your body can create these natural painkillers, which, let's say I'm working hard at level 8 and I'm kind of huffing and puffing, and then I create a smile, and then I start stimulating these natural painkillers. Well, all of a sudden 8's like a piece of cake. Why don't we go to 9? So do you see what I mean? So while I'm working at a 9, totally. Yes, exactly. And what I was going to say is that a smile exudes confidence. It increases your own confidence, but I also feel that if you put that confidence out there, as long as it's a humble confidence, then people want to interact with you more as well. So that's an awesome statement, because it just kind of is cyclical. You put a smile out, it's inviting to people. They want to come into what it is that you have. And also, I mean, there's a lot of times we may walk into a situation and not feel confidence, but smiling our way through it, it's almost like faking it till you make it, or tricking your brain. Because as we said earlier, for those of you that may have come in late, when your face contracts those smile muscles, this is the fitness part of a smile. When your face contracts those smile muscles, it stimulates the brain to have the same reaction as though you were doing something that would actually make you smile. Okay, like seeing somebody that you really like, or watching something funny. So just by faking it till you making, like smiling, it's going to start stimulating some of those positive chemicals that happen in the brain. So those are some awesome reasons to smile. Here's another little study for you too, is that they did a study on runners that were running outside, and the runners didn't have sunglasses, so they were squinting. So, squinting would stimulate some of the muscles that we would use to make a frown. So they did a little testing on their brains when they were squinting and then they were smiling, and they saw that the different areas of the brain were lighting up during the smile. When they were smiling, they saw these positive areas of the brain light up, whereas when they were squinting, because they didn't have the sunglasses and simulating sort of a muscular frown, that they were having responses in the brain that were not in the positive emotional area. So anyway, I thought that was super interesting study, and that's how we're going to tie this in with smiling making you burn more fat. Okay, so what if next time you do an interval workout, or any kind of workout that's starting to get a little hairy, I think interval workouts get hairy quick, so we could use that as a good example. What if you start to smile in the middle of it, even if you don't feel like it? What if you bite a pencil? Because like I said earlier, biting a pencil like this, it stimulates the smile muscles. I don't even feel like I'm trying to smile when I bite my finger or a pencil. But it's stimulating those muscles, which is stimulating the brain, which all of a sudden, I'm not so upset about the dust in my house right now. I don't know if you guys were, if you were tuned in earlier, but my husband is drywalling and he's making it really dusty. So I was like, I'm going to have to dust everything. But anyway, I'm just joking. So, okay, so here's a couple challenges for you. A couple different ways that you can start stimulating more smiles. And let me just preface that too with, some of us are just natural smilers. We just smile a lot, and some people just don't. I think they're thinky in their head, they're just not smiling. But I'm going to challenge you, if you're a non-habitual smiler, did I say that right? If you don't habitually smile all the time, I'm going to challenge you to practice a little more smiling, and see what you get, see what comes back at you. I can't remember who made that comment, but give me a little thumbs up if it was you that made the comment about pulling people into you, like bringing back smiles to you, because that'd be a really good study for you guys to try this week. So stretch your smile muscles while brushing your teeth, just to warm them up, for example. I mean, that's a good time to practice your smile muscles, right? So you can warm those up. Think about it. They're muscles. They need to be warmed up too. Have you ever seen a little kid that smiles so much that you think it's like almost like your own cheeks hurt? So they are muscles. Or you've been smiling for a photo shoot and your muscles actually start to hurt. So warm your muscles up while you're brushing your teeth. If you surround yourself with props that make you smile, I don't know, if you work in an office, why not have something there right at your office? An office could be kind of a depressing place to work. I have to say, I'm really grateful that I work in a gym, because there's really nothing depressing about a gym. especially my own. So if you work in an office, put what you can around you that make you smile. If there are rules about putting pictures of family members, just put a little thing there that makes you smile. One little thing that belongs to you that you know makes you smile. Nobody else has to know what it's all about. I'm going to show you one more time what it is that makes me smile. If you have an office where you can put one of these, by all means, go get a tube guy and put him there. How can you not? Will you heart this guy if you love these? If you're with me and thank you. So I'm not the only dork in the room, but I swear to you, it's a scary thing I have going here. People send me pictures of these on Facebook all the time because or they text me pictures, my clients, because they know I love that thing. Pink, in a bright pink would be awesome. So that for me, the tube guy, it makes me smile. I want to find one like this big that I could put like on my dashboard or something. Okay, so another way to create more smiles, create an internal smile file, like in your head, just images or videos in your, that play in your own head, thoughts that make you smile. Kind of have go-to things like, sometimes we have an episode of something that happens, in a show or something that makes us smile. Okay, I have one. Is my sister still on? Christine, if you're still here, click it because you'll remember this one. So I have this one image. I don't even believe I'm telling you this. I go back to it all the time. Not on purpose, but I'm going to start going back to it. So when I was in high school, I was in the orchestra and I think we had a break. I had to run to the store and get a snack. So I ran to the store and Christine, if you want to punch in the punchline, go ahead, because I'm sure you remember this. So I was going to the store. I came back and I had this bag of nuts. And so I was driving and I was looking down, reaching in the bag of nuts. And I had actually... Sorry, it still makes me laugh to this day. And high school's been a couple years, maybe like 3 or 4 years. So I look up, I feel this bump, and I look up, and I had driven onto the sidewalk, and there was this kid, this super tall, bushy-haired kid, walking down the sidewalk, and I was driving right down the sidewalk toward him. And he looked up with this really big face, and he just jumped in all his arms. I just realized why the tube guy makes me happy, because he looked like the tube guy before tube guys were cool. So anyway, that's my smile file right there. So come up with a little list of things. So, if you have a job that you don't love and there's really not that much to make you smile, or you don't really like the environment, let's say you, I didn't hit the guy, by the way, just so you know, okay? But it was really funny now. I wonder if that guy ever remembers that. To this day, whenever I eat nuts, I think about it. So, if you have a job you don't love, or the environment, or maybe people that are difficult to work with, create your own reel in your head. Why not? It's your head. So create a smile file, something that you can go back to that's going to really elicit a happy, feel-good, smiley feeling. Or a song. I think sometimes the lyrics of songs can make us smile. If you're really having a bad day, and this is a really hard thing for you to do, then bite that pen. Remember we talked about biting that pen, and it creates the muscles that will trigger the brain, and maybe that will help to kind of stimulate the ball rolling on the smile factor. The other thing is get yourself some good shades, like the study. If you didn't hear it, listen to the replay, but the study with the runners with the sunglasses, when they didn't have to squint, then they had more happy thoughts because they weren't stimulating frowny muscles. Also, frowny muscles make the little lines. That's not so good either. Okay, so what I want to do is give me a thumbs up in the comments if you are somebody that works out. If you're here because you like to work out, so nobody works out. There's got to be one of you that likes to exercise no matter what, or goes for a walk, or, okay, well, I'm just going to assume that you like to work out, but how about this week? I want you to do 1 high-intensity interval workout. Oh, guess what? Tomorrow, we're doing a high-intensity interval workout at 6 in the morning. So there you go, right there. We're going to practice. So if you need a workout, tune in tomorrow at 6 o'clock, and we'll be doing it together. So awesome. Good job. I'm so stoked that you are here and you keep tuning in. That's so awesome. So tomorrow, or anytime this week, if you don't work out with me tomorrow, that's okay. You can catch Wednesday's workout. But I want you to try to smile, especially, Ralph, for you, if you're just getting started and you're trying to create new habits, why not start them with a smile? Okay, so see if you can create that trigger in your brain to produce the positive chemicals that will happen. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't tell you that. let's see, I don't know how to translate that, but I am Pacific time zone. So I should have clarified. Oh, so am I. Where do you live, Ralph? I'm in Idaho, but I'm still on Pacific time because we're way up north in Idaho. In fact, I'm going to visit California in a couple weeks, which is where I came from. So Ralph, tell me where you live. And that you from the UK, you're going to have to translate, I think. I really don't even know how that translates. It's probably late at night for you, isn't it right now? I think you guys are pretty well flip-flop from where we are. So it's 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's usually about what time I get into the workouts. If you want to follow me on Facebook, I always post ahead of time, and it's Second Wind Fitness. There's another gal with Second Wind Fitness as well. So mine has a logo. Ooh, Pismo Beach. Awesome. That's a great place. So it's 11 p.m. Oh, let's see. What time is it now? It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon here. So do the math. You guys are 8 hours ahead of us. So now we have to go back from 6 a.m. That's going to be like 2 in the morning. You might want to, or something like that. You might want to join the replay 8 hours later. So, oh, later. No, okay. I'm with you. I think that's 10 in the morning then for you, right? If 6 in the morning here, no, that's not right. That's terrible math. That's 2 in the afternoon for you. But the replays are live for 24 hours. Okay. So usually I do my scopes in the morning. Today is Motivation Monday, but I'm actually doing it on Sunday. Okay, good. I'm so glad. So, yay. Look at the smiley face. I love that. So tomorrow during our workout, I'm going to put some smiles in there. But what I want you to be thinking about this week is do your smile file. Run that little video in your head. Pick it ahead of time. Pick it now so that you can think of something that just makes you belly laugh, like the guy running down the street or my little friend. That little guy. Hey, if any of you guys ever see a little tiny one of those, I want you to send me a message about where I can find one because I want that guy. So you're going to either do the activity of holding the pen in your mouth to create a smile. You're going to find something that you can surround yourself in the day, maybe at a really struggly time of day for you, if it's somebody that you work with, good. And put something there that triggers a smile for you. It doesn't even have to be a picture. It could be just anything like the tube guy that triggers a smile. Or I want you to try smiling during your workout. Ralph, if you're adding habits and you're going to try that tiny habit thing, wrap up the habit with a smile. Okay, and see if you can get that brain to be triggering. The more your brain does something, it recognizes as good and positive, the more it wants to do it. So any of these new habits that you're creating, do something positive after you have done that. Give yourself a reward, and it's not like an ice cream sundae reward. Give yourself just a pat on the back, just a general little, the happy dance, whatever. That's a super important part of creating habits. So, okay, let's see. I'm going to just look at my notes really quick and see if I got it all, because I want to make sure that we got the smile file, we got the good shades, biting a pen, and the props, surrounding yourself with props. So, okay, there you have it. We're going to call it Smiley Sunday today. Okay, so thanks you guys so much for joining. Thanks for the conversation. As always, I would love any questions. Oh, let's see. Somebody had a question about, thanks for the hearts, about dieting, right? If you post that question again, it had to say, did you say, do you have to diet to lose weight? I think was the question. I'm going to answer that while you're here. So that's kind of a yes and no question, okay? I hate that answer, yes and no, but there are two things that play a role here, okay? So there are calories. It used to be that that's all we paid attention to was counting calories, okay? Now science has shown, and used to be, probably 15 years ago, 10 or 15 years ago, science has now shown that other things play a role in weight loss, okay? And I'm trying not to get too sciencey on you here, but what you eat plays a role in that, because let's just take the calorie model, okay? So let's say that you are a person, most men can get away with about 2,000 calories a day, okay? So let's say you're that guy, and I think it was you that asked the question, Land Leo Lioness. Was that you that asked the question about dieting and losing weight? I'm just about to answer that question. So let's say that you're a male that can take in 2,000 calories a day. Oh, wasn't you? Okay, well, somebody did. So here's your answer anyway. If you were to eat 2,000 calories of donuts in a day, do you think you would maintain the same weight as if you had eaten 2,000 calories of chicken breast in a day? So if it all relies on the calories in versus calories out model, then that would be true. We could all eat donuts all day long and stay the same weight. But the problem with that model, using that model alone, standing by itself, is that every food that we eat creates a chemical response in the body. And that chemical response either causes us to burn fat or store fat. I talked about this on Friday, which I don't believe that scope is still up. So I'm going to repeat it, and then I'm going to put it on YouTube. Okay, so you can find me at Second Wind Fitness on YouTube, but I'll give you a little scenario of what that was. So when we eat a carbohydrate, our body produces the hormone of insulin, which most of us recognize as being produced or being protein versus carbs. So I'm going to talk about carbs now and what happens when we eat carbs. Okay, but yes, the scenario of eating donuts versus the chicken breast, that's a protein versus carb situation. Okay, so this is what happens when we dump carbs in, and then I'm going to show you what happens when we dump protein in. Okay, so stick around because this is big stuff. I know, Ralph, you were asking about this the other day, so this is kind of an answer to your question. So we put carbohydrates in. The body produces insulin. Okay, insulin is what takes blood sugar out of the bloodstream and stores it in our muscle and our liver. Okay, and that's important because our body knows that that sugar is corrosive. Okay, carbohydrates, sugars, pastas, breads, rice, potatoes. What else am I thinking? Corn. Fruit even. Fruit is something that all of those turn to sugar very quickly in the bloodstream. So as soon as that starts breaking down to sugar, let's take donuts, for example. As soon as that starts breaking down to sugar, or Skittles, Denise, Skittles, then our body pumps out insulin. Okay, so here's my sugar. I'm going to use my hands because it's easy. Our body starts pumping out insulin, and the insulin's like, oh, there's sugar. I got to get it. So it grabs it, and it takes it out of the bloodstream because your body knows it's corrosive to our cells, creates a crust around the cells so that other messages can't get into the cell. So the insulin takes the sugar to the muscle to be used later, or to the liver to be used later, okay, as energy. Okay, now if you don't use that energy, your body, through your activity level, your body is going to store that sugar as fat. And actually, while we think that's bad, our body's main goal is survival, and it is turning it into fat for our protection, actually, because it knows that if that sugar stays around, it's going to start corroding our eyes. Well, no, the cells that help us to see. Our pancreas is going to be overworked. All of our organs, a lot of things in our body are going to be, our blood vessels are going to be corroded by all the sugar. So our body's actually it's kind of a yay boo, but our body is actually doing us a favor by taking that sugar and storing it as fat. Okay, so there's that, right? But the big thing that you need to know is that when your body is producing insulin, that is a fat storage hormone. So anytime insulin is present in large quantities in the body, you have shut down all the doors to fat burning. Okay, so we're totally off the smile thing, but I'm glad you asked the question because this is an important thing to know. So what our whole goal is to turn our body into a fat burner, not a sugar burner, right? So if we are introducing sugar in the forms of starches and fruit all the time, and I don't mean to bash fruit at all, but too much fruit can turn us into a sugar burner. So if we're introducing all these things, Skittles and Snickers and things like that, if we're introducing this on a regular basis, why would our body burn fat? It says, we got all the sugar. I'm just going to burn the sugar because it's really easy. It's really easy for our body to burn sugars. So we need to train our bodies to not go directly to the sugar by not providing it that all the time. Okay, so that's carbohydrate. Carbohydrate produces sugar, produces insulin, shuts the fat burning down. So we're now in fat storage mode for about 3 hours after we eat just a starchy meal. Okay, so let's talk about the protein. Protein produces kind of an opposite hormone to insulin. Okay, it's called glucagon, and glucagon helps to kind of balance those levels. So let's say I ate just a bagel. Okay, so my insulin level is going to be way up here. Okay, if I ate a bagel with let's say a hard-boiled egg, then I might kind of balance things out because here's my glucagon. I'm starting to balance things out a little bit. So my insulin level does not shoot so high so that I don't have to shut down maybe all the fat burning doors. Okay, so that's where protein is really important. I always tell my clients, don't eat a starch without a protein, because at the very least, that's going to help you keep the insulin levels from shooting way high. Okay, the other thing with insulin and blood sugar is that if you shoot it really high, the blood sugar, and then we get all that insulin out there, we shut all the fat burning doors, and then insulin takes that sugar out of the bloodstream. So you're way up here, and then all of a sudden it's way down here because insulin did its job, which is great. However, when your blood sugars are way down here, that stimulates you to have more cravings, more hunger, wanting to eat more. So then we shoot back up, and then we shoot back down, and our energy drops. And so it's this constant cycle of ramping ourselves up with the carbohydrates, okay? So if you can introduce a carbohydrate with a protein at the same time, then that kind of evens things out a little bit. If weight loss is your goal, then counting calories is very important. However, it's not the entire picture. So for the person that asked that question, I hope you're still here, or I hope you watch the replay, because it really does matter what kind of foods you eat. So I'm going to branch off another little direction too with the food. Is that it's important to, now when I'm talking about carbs, I'm talking starchy carbs. Another way, what I suggest people fill their plate with is lots and lots of vegetables, because those have enough carbs in them to give you the energy that you need without creating this high insulin response, okay? So think of whites, okay? All the white foods, basically, the potatoes, the pasta, the rice, the cereals, the crackers, the pretzels, all those things, those, we'll talk about those as white foods. Those whites shoot that insulin level up. They don't often contain lots of fiber. Vegetables, on the other hand, contain carbohydrates, but they contain large amounts of fiber, which also helps the insulin level to kind of balance out, okay? So it's just kind of like adding protein there. So by eating vegetables, you're sort of leveling out the playing field when it comes to the insulin level, okay? So really the goal should be, in fat loss, should be to try to keep those insulin levels low, so that your sugar levels aren't constantly spiking and dropping. Does that help? I hope that helps you, and I hope it wasn't too over your head. It's something that I repeat often because I feel that it's I guess it's paramount to fat loss, but also I think that repetition will help it sink in and you'll start to understand it. So, okay, we got lots of goals today. So we got the smile goal. So we got that down, right? So let's talk about a quick little food tip too then. So what I want you to think about this week, you have 2 challenge steps this week. The other one is to not eat. Oh, I'm so glad. That makes me so happy. Ralph, if you were the only one listening and it was helping you, that totally makes me happy. So your challenge goal for this week when it comes to food is don't eat a starchy carbohydrate without a protein, okay? Can you do that? You get the sugar spike. Okay, well then just try this. I think it's a lot sometimes to ask people that are used to eating a lot of starchy carbohydrates. It'd be easy for me to say, oh, just eat tons of veggies instead. Well, that's an acquired taste for some people. So let's start a little bit. Let's add in to crowd out. Okay, it's kind of a fitness tippy kind of thing, okay? We call it adding in to crowd out. So let's just add a little more protein in with every starch that you eat, and that will eventually maybe start crowding out some of those starchy carbohydrates in the process. All right. That was a lot longer than I thought it was going to be, which is fine with me. I'm just glad you guys stayed. So, and maybe now, yep, I love that. Oh, awesome. Okay, well, while you're still here then, this is what I tell my clients is to, okay, just need more. What I usually suggest is to fill your plate 50% full of veggies, and then 25% protein. So meats, fish, yogurts, like Greek yogurts, eggs. What else? Let's kind of hit it all there, I guess. So not bacon. I mean, bacon's great. However, you don't really want that much bacon. 1 or 2 pieces is good. And then the rest of your plate, I want you to cut that last little quarter of your plate into 3 sections, okay? If you are an extreme athlete, I'm repeating a couple of things I've said on other scopes, but there's a few of you here, so let's just keep going with it. You want to divide that last quarter of your plate, 50% vegetables, 25% protein. That last quarter of your plate, I want you to pick one of these next 3 categories I'm going to give you. If you are an extreme athlete or your job is extremely physical, so maybe you're a landscaper, what else? A professional cyclist, somebody that's really super physical. Then you can try 15 bites of carbohydrates. I like to break the carbohydrates into bites because bites are super easy to count, and they're not like, you know, like filling your cheek full bites. They're just regular, proper etiquette forkful bites, okay? So are you a youth pastor? Awesome. Love it. Let's see. So, that can be active sometimes, but probably not as active as 15 bites. But, so you are a youth pastor in Pismo Beach. Is that right? That sounds right. That's awesome. It is awesome, or it is physical. So I'm thinking physical, like sweating a bunch. Okay. So that's 15 bites for the really extremely physical person. Person that's, moderately active. They exercise daily. They're movie aroundy. Oh gosh, my grammar, it's Sunday. I guess I don't have to speak proper English today. If they move around a lot, I would actually consider my job as a personal trainer more along the moderately active, because I'm not doing every single thing with them all the time. But because I know that when I was training, for example, for marathons and Ironman, I needed to be the 15 biter. Sorry, it's getting really hot in my massage room. You're going to take 10 bites. If you are a pretty active person, if you exercise daily, you're going to start out with 10 bites per meal of starchy carbohydrates, okay? And if you find that you're losing weight on that and you have enough energy, or you're maintaining weight on that, then that works for you. That's typically for somebody that wants to maintain their weight. If you are somebody that wants to lose fat, or you're a menopausal woman, then I would recommend sticking with 5 bites per meal. And the reason I'm going with bites here is because 1 bite of starchy carbohydrate is about the equivalent of 5 grams of carbohydrates, okay? And if you have 4 to 5 meals a day, that gives you about 25 grams a meal, about 4 meals a day. That's about 100 grams a day. And as long as your energy level is sufficient for what you do, and you're not finding yourself just dragging, and you're losing weight, yeah, I would say then maybe 10 bites would be something for you to do. And then everybody is different. You're going to want to be playing with that. If fat loss is your goal, and 10 bites, you're losing weight on 10 bites, and you are per meal, of course, not a day, but per meal, and you still have sufficient energy, then that's good for you. But really, that's different for everybody. Those are just some guidelines. Some people might function best on 7 bites or whatever. So that just gives you a rough idea. But always the challenge for this week is going to be the smile factor, and then the let's see, do I have to have carbs? Can I have loads of veg and protein? Oh, you know what? To be totally honest with you, I mean, I could see some people arguing with this, but if you have a desk job, I think that loads of vegetables is going to be totally fine for you, as long as you're doing vegetables and proteins, because there are studies that show that people can live off of the energy that they get from vegetables. And here is, if you find that your energy is dropping, now there could be several reasons for this, but if your energy is dropping, then maybe you could put in things a little bit starchier, complex carbohydrate vegetables, such as squashes, sweet potatoes, butternut squash, spaghetti squash, pumpkins. Those kinds of things are kind of, the squashes kind of play a middle ground between starchy carbs and the fibrous carbs, which is all the other vegetables. Fibrous carbs is all those other vegetables, right? So the squashes kind of play middle ground. So if you're finding that your energy is slumping in the day and you just feel like you need you're welcome, you need a little bit more, then throw in a little bit of that. Some of my favorite snacks, oh gosh, let me give you a snack idea, because this is super good. In a weird way, it does not sound good, but it's awesome. So you take a sweet potato or a yam, slice it thin, about an 1/8 of an inch. Brush it with just a little tiny bit of olive oil, sprinkle with maybe a little bit of salt and pepper, or nothing. You don't even have to season it, because sweet potatoes are, have a lot of flavor by themselves. And then I broil those once a week, and just broil. You got to keep an eye on them, because they'll burn. I burned numerous sweet potatoes in my life. So you want to broil them, just so they get, a little crispy, still a little soft. And if you have them for dinner one night, make lots of extra so you have leftovers. They are amazing with scrambled eggs. They just give you this kind of sweet, salty taste, and the texture is really good. The other thing that's really good is you take 2 of those little rounds and brush some almond butter in between, and make and sprinkle a little sea salt. So we got sweet potato, almond butter, little sea salt, and then, oh, okay, I thought my battery died. That was a charming picture. I think my battery's gonna die soon. But anyway, so you take the sweet potato, the almond butter, and the sea salt, and make a little sandwich out of it, and it is super good. It sounds kind of gross, but I dare you to try it. Okay, I should let you guys go, and I should go in the house and dust the mess my husband's making in there right now. So thanks for tuning in on a Saturday. Thanks for all your questions. I hope it's helpful. I will see you guys tomorrow at 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 2 p.m. UK time for a short, intense workout. And I'm going to show you modifications so it doesn't have to be extremely intense if you're just getting started. So be prepared to work out or watch the replay and be prepared to do it another time. So thanks so much. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.